Hello everyone, this is Yoko. In this channel, I will share information in English that I have gathered myself, as events happening in China may not be widely known in other countries. I obtain information from various media sources, so I would appreciate your comments on the content of the videos. If you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing to the channel and showing your support. Currently, the Chinese economy is facing an unprecedented situation, and the economic policies of the Chinese Communist Party are struggling to maintain consistency. At the root of this issue is the long-standing attempt to control the real estate bubble using methods such as collecting and controlling funds. Individuals in China continue to believe that real estate prices will keep rising, and they have utilized various means to engage in real estate transactions for investment purposes, often circumventing regulations. Regulations were imposed on loans when individuals borrowed money to purchase real estate. However, from the perspective of banks, not lending money was seen as a loss of profit. Even if individuals were borrowing money for real estate investment, as long as the necessary documents were in order and there was an explanation, banks tended to continue lending. As a result, the real estate bubble continued to expand, leading to tension between authorities and non-compliant real estate agents, particularly regarding fund collection and control. The current situation in China indicates a gradual collapse of the real estate bubble. While this could be interpreted as a success in controlling the real estate bubble, the timing of these measures is considered too late. In other words, the real estate bubble has already become too large, and if it collapses, it could have a significant impact on the domestic Chinese economy. To address this issue, the Chinese Communist Party is considering selectively guiding funds to specific real estate agents. Excessive real estate supply is considered a serious issue, and unless substantial exclusion occurs within the industry, there is a heightened risk of a collective failure. However, the approach of making money more easily available raises concerns about misuse through fraudulent means. Recent trends in China's real estate market indicate that individuals who purchase properties for investment purposes are facing challenges as the value of the properties does not rise. Criminal groups are taking advantage of this situation, approaching real estate owners with specific proposals and engaging in fraudulent activities. The economic issues in China have reached a stage where the government is considering easing loan approvals. However, if approved, there is a potential risk of funds flowing into unintended areas, leading to significant financial fraud. To illustrate this concretely, I would like to introduce an example of a massive fraud scheme related to real estate lending in China. In the outskirts of Shanghai, where many factories are located and some Japanese companies have expanded, there was an individual who purchased real estate for investment purposes in a place called Shenzhen. As mentioned earlier, this person decided to sell the property, and the desired selling price was 23 million yuan. However, a so-called intermediary agent, who contacted the owner, proposed a different situation, suggesting that the property could be sold for 55 million yuan, which is twice the asking price. The owner and the intermediary agent created a real estate sales contract, in which the property's price was stated to be over 100 million yuan. A 35% down payment was required for the transaction, with the rest to be borrowed from the bank. However, in this case, the individual who applied for the bank loan was referred to as a professional failure, meaning someone who, up to that point, had no debt issues and was not listed on any blacklist, a person with a clean financial record. The professional failure was recruited by the criminal organization, seemingly interested in real estate, and documents related to various attributes were forged to obtain a loan from the bank. The criminal organization also entertained bank loan officers, providing them with monetary incentives. From the bank's perspective, there was no hesitation in approving the loan as long as the documents were in order. Through this scheme, the bank became entangled in providing a mortgage. Initially, the owner wanted to sell the property for 23 million yuan, which they received in advance. However, the remainder was borrowed from the bank. The fraudulent buyer, who is essentially a scam artist, withdrew the remaining full amount from the account and effectively fled, pulling out the entire loan from the bank. Criminal organizations engaging in such activities have been exposed, drawing attention to this scheme. This group, consisting of 34 individuals aged 25 to 45, amassed approximately 60 million yuan, around 1.2 billion Japanese yen, using this method. The success of this crime is attributed to the fact that many individuals want to sell their real estate quickly due to the burden of bank loans. Exploiting the urgency of these sellers, criminals propose this scheme, promising that the property can be sold at the desired price. If bank officers are also compromised, and the necessary documents appear legitimate, they are less likely to be held accountable. Criminals orchestrate this fraud by exploiting both the desperation of sellers and the compromised position of bank officers. Now, let's talk about the opacity of real estate prices. In the example mentioned earlier, the seller originally listed the property for 23 million yuan, but in the contract, it was inflated to 55 million yuan. If this were a regular product, one might notice that it's a bit too expensive. However, real estate prices are challenging to appraise, especially considering the ongoing decline in already high real estate prices. Therefore, in this region and for this property, the fair market value is unclear. Consequently, in China, it's currently easy for fraudulent schemes to set exorbitant prices in contracts and pull loans from banks. If the Communist Party relaxes real estate-related loans, there is a possibility that individuals using this method could emerge nationwide. The 34 individuals apprehended are just a small example in China. Pulling funds from banks using this method has already been systematized, and many are believed to use similar tactics. Ultimately, loosening regulations may mean an influx of such individuals in China. The economic policies in China, unlike the Japanese sense, may lead to results vastly different from what is anticipated. In China, there is currently a situation where many people feel there are no legitimate employment opportunities, and as a result, there is a high number of individuals who are willing to resort to illegal activities to earn money. Furthermore, when it comes to fraud, there is a tendency to blame the victim. With such prevailing attitudes, even if money is distributed, the effectiveness of rebuilding the economy is diluted. It is crucial to enforce strict measures against those gaining money through illegal means, as there is a risk that government economic policies may cease to function properly. Finally, returning to Japan, fraudulent receipt is becoming a problem, and it is imperative to thoroughly crack down on such individuals. To prevent subsidies and relief funds from being exploited by those with ill intentions, stringent enforcement is necessary. The distribution of funds is closely linked to the moral fabric of a country, and in nations where the hurdles for committing crimes are low, the economic stimulus effect is almost negligible. Vigilance is required in the future. That concludes our discussion for today. Until next time.